Just me all by my lonesome. Good morning, Renee.
Good morning, my dear. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm
Good.
doing great. What did I get an email saying that thank you for registering for KW Ignite 2.0?
I think they just send that out after everyone registers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Well, you should have a good crowd today.
we shall see. Good morning, Nairi. Hmm. Wow.
Hmm. Can you hear me?
Good morning. Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I'm having a little trouble, but if you can hear me, I guess I'm good. I'm going to mute me. Thanks.
All right. Thank you. Good morning, Laura.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. We're almost there.
I know you're good. You probably don't need my help at all.
I can always use help one way or another. No, I think I got it. If I need you, I will definitely ask for your
Okay.
help.
I'll be in the background. I'm gonna post a couple of things in the chat. I have to tell you, I was thinking about you yesterday when we were doing the Aaron Kaufman thing,
Mhm.
because he was talking about branding, and you had Nordstrom behind you, which is another like amazing example of branding, you know.
Yep.
So I looked at you and I was like, I kind of hoped that he would see you and see the Nordstrom and, say something about it, but I don't know if he could even see you or not,
I think something happened with his screen like halfway through
Yeah.
and it went blank.
Yep.
Good morning, guys.
Good
Morning,
morning.
AJ.
Did you like that presentation yesterday?
I did.
It
I
was
did.
so good, wasn't it? He's awesome.
Mhm.
It was really great.
Well, I tell people all the time, I don't want to work. If I could sit on a beach in Hawaii
Yeah.
and have people make money for me, perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Are you already a part of that Facebook group?
Yes.
I am
Good.
too.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amen to not working. Oh yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you in your jammies, Nairi?
Yep. And I just got my granola and yogurt and coffee. I'm good to go. Let's get this show started.
Hey, Jordan,
Yeah.
Renee mentioned yesterday that maybe some people don't realize that Ignite is continuing on next week,
Mhm.
that today is not the last day. So if you can please mention that we just actually during the Aaron Kaufman thing yesterday, I was working on the flyer. So the flyer has been created. It's been sent out to everybody at each office. So you guys should start seeing that soon. And I'm
Awesome.
going to post something in the chat room about it as well. Okay.
Great. I'll make sure to mention it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Like steps continuing after this or
Oh yeah. The Ignite is it's got two sections to it. This section is called Ignite Spark, and that's 2 weeks long or 9 sessions. And then there's Ignite Elementals, which is sort of the level up. And that has 9 sessions also, and that starts on Monday, and it'll be at 9 o'clock as well. So you have 2 more weeks.
Mhm.
Isn't it almost like what you should do and then how you should do it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Can we play Sierra's Level Up on day 1?
And I believe
No.
Nairi, I want you to do that.
No. Jordan,
um,
take the wheel.
I believe is Amanda also teaching a class? I think Nairi.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from what I understand, I think there was one of the she was telling me.
Yeah, she is teaching one of them.
Oh,
That's correct.
cool.
All right. It is 9 a.m. Let's go ahead and get
And
going, and we'll have those that come in join us then.
And please
Good.
introduce yourself and all that kind of stuff too. Okay.
Of course. Of
Thank
course.
you.
Thank you.
I'm going to hide.
All righty. All right. Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining me. My name's Jordan Thorpe. I'm an agent in the Santa Cruz Market Center. I am, I guess, what you would call a nerd when it comes to technology. I've always grown up around technology. I'm of that generation. So I'm super big on command. I'm on the tech region calls on Thursdays with Zach. So I hop off this and get on that call. I am not at Nordstrom. I wish I was. I've been an agent for going on 6 years. I joined Keller Williams in December of 2018, so just over a year. And best career switch for me. And I'm excited. I'm learning new things every day in this company, things that I would have never even thought of in real estate. Been involved in real estate for quite some time. One of my grandfathers is a developer in Southern California, so I did a lot of work with him. So I got to see that side of it, which was really cool. Ultimately, that is not for me. It's a lot bigger headache than I wish to take on. So residential real estate is good with me right now. All right, so let's jump in and get going. If you are not familiar with how to access the content, I just shared my screen with you. Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay.
And I
Great.
just put,
So inside KW,
I put directions in the chat too, but they kind of ran together. Sorry, you guys, but there's some directions in there as well.
awesome. And if I could have someone monitor the chat for me and let me know if there's any questions, I would really appreciate it.
We'll do.
Thank you.
I'll let you know.
So inside KW Connect, when you're at Keller Williams University, we're in Ignite 2.0, the lab. You click on that. And the biggest thing that I could tell you about this is you want to download the toolkit, which is tons of resources for us as instructors, as students, all of that. In here, it brings you to the summary page and you click on participant resources and you have the Ignite toolkit there. It downloads as a zipped file. You open it up and there's a plethora of different items, a 411, a habit tracker, a buyer qualification sheet, seller qualification sheet. It just goes on and on and on. So that being said, let's go ahead and get started with the PowerPoint. Can everyone see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, that's good.
You need to
Not yet.
Not yet.
stop sharing one and start sharing your PowerPoint.
Oh, no, I don't
There you
think
go.
so. All right. Wonderful. All right, everyone sees the PowerPoint. So we're in Spark session 9, day in the life of a real estate agent. And no, it does not revolve around driving a nice car and going to eat lunches and just doing that like they make it seem on TV. I wish that's not the case. So one of the things that we have, well, actually, before we get into this, I want to check in with everyone and see what challenges you're facing in your real estate business. What are you seeing right now that is presenting the greatest challenge to you?
Fear.
Fear?
Not on, well, I guess on my side and on the consumer side,
Mm-hmm.
right? Obviously.
And what are their fears about?
Making big decisions, making big financial decisions, whether it be investing money in something or risking their own home. Not knowing like how or when we're all going to get back to work to a normal rate,
Mm-hmm.
and how life moving forward is going to be.
And when you're having those conversations, are you seeing that it naturally progresses towards real estate, or do you bring it up?
Yeah, so like you were saying the other day, I've just been calling everyone literally one by one in my phone list from a pure care side. And then it naturally progresses that way. It starts out, how are you doing? And then it goes into, how is the market? What are you seeing? What do you think for the future? What do you see now?
Yeah, there's a lot of apprehension. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of people who are furloughed or are laid off, and selling or buying goes to the back burner for them. And I understand it. I totally get it. That's a very tough one to overcome, because this fear, this is such a, one, it's unprecedented for a lot of people, and two, it's the uncertainty of where we go from here that causes it. So that's definitely something that we're seeing. Anything else that we're seeing? Any other challenges?
I think even like buyers that like were not able to jump in the market before.
Mhm.
Now they're like more able to, right?
Mhm.
But then they're even maybe still having some hesitation because they're like, well, maybe it'll go down lower and maybe it'll get better.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
then maybe that time will be too late too.
Mhm. Mhm. So a lot of and this kind of flows into my next question about opportunities that we're seeing. When I'm doing that call, and I have a handful of buyers who are thinking like that,
Hmm.
and same with sellers. And what I'm telling them is it's going to be a very interesting time once we come out of this, because your thinking is like the majority. And there's a lot of people who are thinking, well, what if it goes lower? And what if it goes lower? And then when we're out of this, what if it doesn't go lower? Now we have a huge amount of buyers looking, a huge amount of people who are putting their listings on. So it's a frenzy every which way. That's what I've been talking to them about. And then I just let them sit with that. And they usually do their thinking. And it's not a pressure like you should buy now. Just let them think, present both sides of it, because we tend to get this one track mind and think just this way. We have tunnel vision, our blinders are on. I do it. I know coworkers who do it, so we all get it at some time. But it's definitely an opportunity to talk to them about all the different could be's of what the market will be after this.
Hmm.
Any other opportunities that we're seeing?
When you say opportunities, one of the, you know, the challenge to a certain extent is that our inventory is really limited, even though it's not. I mean, the only houses that we can really show are houses that are vacant. So the inventory is rather limited. And when you think about what's going to happen when we come out of this and prices, I was just thinking that prices are driven by at least three things. One is demand, one is supply,
Mhm.
and the other is affordability or interest rates, and then the number of people in a marketplace that can afford to buy. And we've always had a lower affordability rate. The number of people in our area that can buy has always been kind of low. But I think we have to, to kind of get ahead of the market, we need to do things like look at what the unemployment rate is, not nationwide, but locally.
Right.
What's happening locally, because that's the pool of buyers. Who's able to buy. Interest rates are low, supply is low, and demand is still high.
Mhm.
So you look at those three things. I don't know if prices are going to go down.
If I had a crystal ball, I'd be making a lot more money than I actually am. It's, access to money has really never been so easy. Our interest rates are low, even with the volatility. I had a client get locked in at 3.5% the other day. That's great in this time. I was talking to my grandparents, and they bought their house years ago for $17,000 with an outrageous interest rate. I mean, we're talking 18, 19, 20% interest rate. And thinking about that, I'm like, oh, talk about crippling the American economy. Put an interest rate right there, and real estate will flatline completely. One of the things that I think is really good, and this is an opportunity for everyone, is now is the time to get in front of your database with those care calls. How are you doing? To get involved in some way, because how we show up right now is how clients and leads and prospective clients, that's how they're going to remember us. Not at, oh, he was at this open house and he was great to talk to. No, he called me every single week or every other day. He did a grocery drop off. They did a grocery drop off. They sent me recommendations to watch on Netflix. They sent me a gift card for my favorite restaurant when this all is over, whatever that is. So that's a huge opportunity for us. And by no means am I saying go out and spend money for your clients. Don't do that right now, especially when we're trying to I'm really excited about that, as well as really cleaning up my database and cleaning up the systems and models that are available to us. So that's something that I'm really excited for and implementing in my business. That being said, we're going to get into what successful agents do every day. So there's two things they do: grow business and they run their business. Sort of like working on your business and working in your business. So growing business, we're lead generating for buyers and sellers, making seller listing presentations and getting listings, making buyer presentations and get buyer listings, and previewing real estate. So we're not previewing real estate in person necessarily. We are doing much more virtual, much more online now. You're able to see the home if it is vacant using the correct documentation and the forms. Lead generating, definitely not door knocking, not doing an open house, not face-to-face contact. It's a lot of letters. It's a lot of social media messaging, text messaging, phone calls. And right now our lead generation is shifting to, how are you doing? How are you holding up? How is your family? Instead of, hey, I met you at this open house. Do you have any questions about the house? That sort of thing. Or, hi, this is Jordan Thorpe, and I'm calling because I just listed this house in Main Street, in 123 Main Street, and I'm having an open house. We're not doing that right now. And remember, Gary Keller is also recommending 4 hours of lead generation. And we've gone up from 3 hours a day to 4 hours a day. And now's the time to really, really get comfortable with lead generation, whatever it is, because that, you won't have a business to run if you don't lead generate. You don't have anything. You're sitting there waiting. You're being, instead of being proactive for your business, you're being reactive when they come to you, which that's not going to result in a fruitful business if you're on the beginning end. If you're mid-career or late career, or seasoned, I should say, you have sort of a referral basis that could be very fruitful. And then running your business, so we're marketing our seller listings, showing our buyers houses, negotiating our contracts, transaction management to closing, vendor management, set goals, compliance and risk management, attending any trainings and get coaching. We're all attending these Ignite trainings, so way to go. Manage our money, cut loose expenses, cut frivolous expenses right now. Maybe now's not the time to have the Netflix account, to have the Hulu and the HBO account. Maybe it's time to get rid of your paid subscription to whatever it is that you just don't need. Get back to basics. Marketing and showing buyers houses, of course, use caution, be smart about it, go into vacant homes only. Transaction management to closing, and compliance and risk management. Really use your TC and make sure you're checking in on your TC as well. They're struggling right now just with all of us, and it's an uncertain time for them as well. But they are, I just know my business with my TC. I tried it and it fell in on itself. So really, really, really rely on your TC and let them do that work for you. Vendor management, check in with your vendors, see how they're doing. Call them, see what they're seeing out in the market, how long it's usually taking for them to get an inspection, if they're booked out, what they're seeing. And we will go on. Oh, doesn't want to work. There we go. Here are for where we are, grow your business and run your business. Then we're going to head into set weekly and daily objectives. So in the one thing, Gary Keller quotes F.M. Alexander by saying, people do not decide their futures, they decide their habits, and their habits decide their future. And I really agree with this. I think this is an amazing quote. We can say I'm going to be here in this period of time. So a year from now, I'm going to be a millionaire. Just throwing that one out there. Well, how are you going to become a millionaire in a year's time span? What are you doing every single day, every hour of the day, every minute of the hour that is getting you from point A to point B, from where you are now to being a millionaire. Any questions so far? Comments, questions? What are your thoughts on this quote?
It's a good quote. It's true. It's just actually doing it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we have some tools to help us with our habits. And if you haven't found them before, they are in the student toolkit or the Ignite toolkit that I mentioned earlier. Your 411 is a great habit tracker. You have, a great roadmap. Then you have the 66-day habit tracker, which is a super useful tool. For me, I'm one of those people, I am a checklist person. I get a rush off of checking something, scratching something off a list. So if I have a habit tracker and I get to red X that day, it's a rush for me. And normally that rush comes from shopping, but I can't do that right now. So I'm taking it for the habit tracker. All right. So here's an overview of a schedule. This is reflecting 8:30, 9:30, 10:30, 11:30. So 3 hours of lead generation. And again, it doesn't have to be you sit down right away and it's 3 consistent hours of lead generation. If you need to do a morning session, an afternoon session, and a late afternoon session, or an evening session, go for it. What matters is you're getting it done. You have to find the lead generation time that works best for you. You might have a select group that you found really works well early morning, this 8:30 to 10:30, or 8:30 to 9:30. Then you have the people who are on lunch breaks that you can call and you can chat with. And then you have the people who are driving home in traffic or just got home and you get them on the phone, and that works well for you. But it's important to have a schedule and stick with it. So 8 a.m., your day starts, motivation, building time. You have your daily success habits, lead generation, and follow-up. Take your lunch break. Always remember, you have to nourish yourself. If you aren't helping yourself, you're of no help to others. Then after your lunch break or whatever your schedule shows, run your business activities. So work on your marketing things, work on your contracts, talk to the other agent on the other side, attend any trainings that you have. If it's in person and your team meeting starts in the afternoon, then go to your team meeting. If it starts in the morning, in the middle of your lead generation, then take a break during your lead generation. I know it's tough because we get on a roll and we're really going, and then we have to take that break and build up that momentum. But you never know what you're going to miss if you don't go to a team meeting. Growing the business activities, previewing real estate, making the seller presentations, meeting with clients, review your calendar for tomorrow and make your success list, and then have your family time. Your family time is really important, and there is no right schedule. Your right schedule is what works for you when you're doing it. That being said, it's important to time block and have this done. Who here is really good at time blocking and putting it in their calendar, making it look really nice?
Put it on calendar, Jordan, and make it nice, but I'm very bad at following.
Yeah, that you read my mind. The next question I was gonna ask is who's really good at following their calendar that they have? And that's really where the challenge lies for a lot of us. You know, I have my phone, my iPad, a paper planner, one at my office. So I could write it all down and it's going to look great. But what am I doing to really go for that? And the trick I found is I always keep my why in front of me. So my why is my 2 nieces. I don't have children, I have nieces. For me, it's much better because I can spoil them rotten and give them back to my brother and sister-in-law, and they're going to love me no matter what. So I always keep them in front of me. And if I say, oh, you know what, I want to go on Facebook real quick, I'll look over and I'll see that my nieces are right there in that picture. And I'm like, better stick to lead generation. They have college that they want to go to. My oldest niece, she wants to be a veterinarian right now. So I'm thinking, okay, well, Uncle has a really big bill to foot then. So the key activities that have to be on your calendar are your non-negotiable or your big rocks. So a little bit later, we're going to get into what the big rocks consist of. And your non-negotiables are things that absolutely have to be done every single day, 5 days a week, no matter what. And for real estate, that's running your business and growing your business. Sorry, growing your business and running your business. Lead generation, and then doing the things that you have to do to make sure those leads are taken care of. Any questions on this?
Hey, one of the things, Jordan, I wanted to mention was a unintended side consequences of having these sessions. For me, they bring discipline. So even though I may not have some of the topics here in these Ignite sessions, which I may not be as interested in, but the reason and you've seen me, I've attended all of the Ignites, is because it gets me started on the day and I get into that frame of mind saying, okay, I need to. So just wanted to share that with you that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing, AJ. That is
Activity of the business, right? And then that way. Yeah.
That's a big one. It really builds in the discipline for us and gets us going. And I don't know about everyone else, but I leave these sessions and I'm hyped up. Like, I'm ready to go for the day, ready to make my calls, ready to get any marketing I'm doing done. Who here is an early starter? So 4:30 and after. Well, everyone starts after 4:30, I guess. Who starts their day between 4:30 and say 6:30?
I do.
Okay, Renee, anyone else?
I do. Teresa.
Okay, awesome. So I am part of the 4:30 club. And when this whole thing started, I was sleeping in, I was staying up late, sleeping in, and it just wasn't good. And I physically didn't feel good, and my body was shifting and doing weird things. And I realized that I was just out of whack. So for me, getting up, starting at 4:30, getting my workout done, going for a run, doing my home stuff, cleaning my house, whatever it is, I got that done and I got it out of the way. And then I had all day to talk to my database, all day to work on marketing material, all day to online shop if I wanted to, all day to twiddle my thumbs. I mean, you get it out of the way. I'm not saying everyone get up and go for a run at 4:30 in the morning. No, absolutely not. But I'm saying find the time that works for you and make it work for you. You're going to feel so much more energized just by having that me time. Even if you get up at 7 a.m. and you have 10 minutes of quiet time, that is your time to reflect on your stuff. So schedules are really important. And for me, a schedule here has really helped me during this time not go crazy. Set weekly objectives. So we have a 411, and the nice thing is a 411 stands for 4 weeks in 1 month, and then you have 1 year. We break it down and build it up. So your big goal, and most commonly it's your salary goal or your income goal or your houses sold goals, listing sold, buyer sold, anything like that. Then you break it down from there. So if I want 50 goals, if I want 60 listings this year, my monthly goal has to be 5 listings a month. And for 5 listings a month, I need 1.3, 1.25 listings per month, per week. So I have to be constantly generating. And remember, it takes 90 days for our work to really show up in our business. So if I'm not lead generating today, 90 days down the road, I'm not going to have anything to show for it. I'd say in a normal market, but I think that can really apply here too, because what we do now is going to translate to our business later. Again, if you're like me, having this printed out, writing on it, and sticking it up somewhere where you can see it every single day is really big for accountability for me. And I update this every month and every week. My annual goals are going to stay the same, but my monthly goals are going to change and my weekly goals are going to change. This is a fluid document and you make it to what works for you. This is in the Ignite the Ignite toolkit. Team leaders can get you this. If you have a friend who knows where it is, talk to them and really, really check this out. Renee, do you have any input on what this is, how this has helped you in your business?
It's kept me focused, which is the most important thing, on track. And I think that breaking it down like you did, where if your goal is to have 50 transactions, you need to break it down to how many contacts, in fact, you need to have per week. And I'm sure that to get 1.5 appointments, you're going to have to contact quite a few people per week. So it's a good gauge.
Mm-hmm.
And you only fill out 1 week at a time. So you do the monthly goal and you do week 1, and those things you don't complete, guess where they go?
Into week 2.
And if you had to contact, say 100 people to get your 1.5 appointments, and you only did 75, now week 2, you have to do 125.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps you on track.
Mm-hmm. Keeps you accountable, self-accountability. Renee brings up a really good point. Know your numbers too. Write them at the top. If you know it takes you 20 contacts a day and 19 of them say no and 1 says I'm interested, 1 raises their hand and says yes, write that up here. You have to make 20 contacts a day for 1 yes. And that is every single day for 5 days a week. So have those conversations with them. And remember, now we are branching out into all sorts of different communication. Text messaging, social media messaging, voice messaging, phone calls, knocking on doors, not right now. So do it behind the scenes. But as long as you're able to have that two-way conversation and present to them, are you interested in buying and selling in real estate in some version, not that direct? Or if you're that direct, go for it. And they say yes or they say no, make sure you know those numbers. Make sure you track them. If you aren't using a dialer system, keep a tally sheet, keep an Excel sheet, however you're doing it. I called 20 people in my phone log and they all said no, but I had my 20 contacts called. So write those ones up at the top there. 80-20 principle. So in the 6 personal perspectives, we have this, one of them is committing to the 80-20 principle. And this stems from a philosopher named Pareto, and an economist. And what he talks about is 80% of our results come from just 20% of our efforts. So these are our big rocks, or our non-negotiables. So lead generation is a big rock and a non-negotiable of mine. Those two are going to, so lead generation is going to result in 80% of the results for my business, which is huge. That's absolutely huge. And I was at a company before where they didn't teach you what lead generation was. They didn't teach you what a model was for lead generation. They didn't teach you what to say, the scripts. They didn't provide you with any of that. So coming to Keller Williams and having access to all of that, it would be self-sabotage for me not to lean into this and really do it. And there's a story where this, I think it's a professor, he's in a lecture and he brings them this big jar in front of his students. And he puts a bunch of rocks in the jar, fills it up to the top. And he says, "Do I still have room?" And the students say, "No, jar's full." So then he takes smaller rocks little pebbles, and he puts them into the jar, and they filter through and they fill up the jar. And he says, "Do I still have room?" And the students say, "No, the jar is full." Then he takes sand. Is it sand or water first? Sand. No, water. And he puts the water in the jar, and it filters through the rocks and the pebbles. Says, "Do I still have room?" No, the jar is full. Then he takes sand, and he puts the sand in there, and the jar rises up and it fills up. And he says, "Now the jar is finally full."
Babe.
And the students are looking at him and they're saying, "Well,
Yeah,
how
man.
did that happen?"
I don't. Yeah.
What? Okay. So then he tries it in reverse. He puts the sand in, then he puts the water in, and it sits on. Then he puts water, tries to cram in the big rocks. And he says the point of it is you need to put the big rocks first, because that is going to have the most impact on your life, on your situation. Can everyone still hear me? I keep getting this notification. My internet connection is unstable.
You were a little bit, the quality was bad, but it's okay. It goes in and out.
Okay.
For a minute or so, it was bad, and then it's back again.
Okay. So whatever your 80% results are, whether it's to make more money, to have more time with family, or to be more organized, you need to have the 20% effort to get you there, and find out what that is. So if it's to make more money, well, how are you going to make more money? You're going to have more sales. How are you going to make more sales? You're going to have more contacts. How are you going to have more contacts? Talking to people, lead generating. So work it backwards from there, and that will reveal what your 20% effort needs to be in your day. Any questions on what the 80-20 principle really is talking about?
Also, Jordan, it kind of dovetails very nicely with the one thing. So that 80% could be the one thing. And that's what I found. I'm only been around for a year, and everybody kind of knows in my office that open houses are my big thing. Generate all my business through that. And so I keep focusing on that till I've mastered that. And then if I have more time, then I'll do something else after that.
So is your one thing more business?
Yeah. So what I was saying is, you find out in everything that you do, let's say in lead generation, what is your one thing first? Focus on that. Or in your life, what is your one thing? And try to see if that one thing is working or not for that week or for that month. And then move on to the next one. A lot of times when I came into real estate, for the first couple of months, I was drinking from the fire hose because there's so much that is to offer. And it happens to a lot of people. And we all take our own time in figuring out what is the one thing. Sometimes, it takes a while to figure out, okay, there is too much going on. Let me scale it back. I can only do that one thing or two things or whatever that is. And also figuring out what I am good at, right? And then do it. So it took a couple of months, a few months, and then I figured out that suits my personality. That's what I'm good at. And so I started doing that, and that's where I had the most success.
Absolutely. So you worked it backwards. You identified that one thing. You said, this is my one thing. This is 80% of the results from it. And this is what I need to do to get to this point. So it's reverse engineering, really. You knew it, and you can have more than one thing. Put it in categories of your life. What's your one thing for your family? What's your one thing for your business? What's your one thing for your personal goals? Maybe it's to New Year's resolutions. Perfect example. Probably the most common New Year's resolution is to lose weight. And people don't realize what the 20% of the effort you have to do. I venture to say that the 20% effort is a combination of eating right and exercising. And that's going to give you 80% of what you want to achieve. people think, oh, I can go to the gym and I can just run for hours and hours and hours and then go to McDonald's for breakfast. Well, you can, not saying you're going to be the most successful person with that. Maybe your business, it's, I want my GCI to be $500,000 this year, $500,000. Okay, well, how do I need to get to that what do I need to do to get to $500,000? And it's probably more than 20 contacts a day. Just gonna throw that one out there. If not, and it works for you with 20 contacts a day, I want to talk to you because I want your secrets. Any other questions or comments on the 80-20 principle? All right. Set your objective. Translate your weekly goals into your daily objectives. So again, it's chunking it down for us. And we want to make sure that when we have our daily objectives, we want to make sure they're identifiable so we know what is our goal. They're metric driven. We have some way of measuring them. We can write them down. We can look at the data. We can put them in a spreadsheet, whatever it is. They're attainable. So do we have the correct systems or models in place to attain that? If you don't have it there, it's harder to reach. Not impossible, but it is harder to reach. This is super company talk right now, but Keller Williams is a company of systems and models. There's a whole book called The Millionaire Real Estate Agent that identifies the models and systems for us to achieve success, to become a millionaire real estate agent. Are your daily goals purposeful? Are they in alignment with your weekly and your monthly and annual goals? Is what you're doing today going to help you for the week, which will help you for the month, which will help you for the quarter, let's say, let's just put another step in there, which will help you for your year? And are they timely? When will this goal need to be accomplished? Is it a non-negotiable, or is it something you can do after you've accomplished your 20% already? So this is the cycle that we have, and it's important to really remember these. It's kind of like the SMART goals. People say, oh, we need to set SMART goals. They're identifiable, readily identifiable, metric driven. We can analyze data on it. We have the systems, we have the processes that we can use for this to attain it. Are they helping me towards what I ultimately want to be doing? And is it going to get me there? When is it going to get me there? Is this going to expedite something for me to help with my annual goal? So this is another one to keep in mind, to maybe print it out, keep it as a picture, reflect on it. Anytime you're doing your 411, your 135, this is a great tool to have as well. Time blocking. So putting our big rocks in our calendar, we touched on this briefly. Time blocking is a big one. And not so much time blocking is a big one. Following our time block is a really, really important thing, because I can put on my time blocking schedule that from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm lead generating. And guess what? I go on Facebook for 1 second and I see something and it's down the rabbit hole with that. And there goes my 3 hours that I had time designated for lead generating. So there's a great app on I think it's your iPhone, your computer, or your phone, whatever phone you have. It's called Caffeine, and it blocks whatever website you don't want to go on. Check it out. I'm sure there's tons of other ones, but that's really helped me put in some sort of accountability for me and stick to my time blocking schedule. There's a lot of different examples on this. If you Google Keller Williams time blocking, you'll get tons of results. Talk to someone in your office who's really good, who has really good habits about time blocking, about sticking to their schedule. Talk to someone who's doing really good, who's absolutely killing it in production, and ask them how they develop the habit to stick to their time blocking schedule, because again, that's a habit that's going to get you from point A to point B. So it's developing that. Anyone want to share some big successes that they've had with time blocking? No one? All right. So I'll share one of the big successes that I've had for time blocking. And I set, let's see, 2 hours in the morning that I was going to lead generate. I got on the phone from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. I was lead generating. No ands, ifs, or buts. And I got on the phone and I got logged into Mojo, started dialing, and it was like everyone I was talking to. I think I talked to 35 people. I have the single dialer. I don't have the triple line. And I'd say out of the 30, it was like 30, 35, somewhere around there. We'll call it 30. 30 people I talked to, 17 of them had said, yeah, I'm interested in real estate. So that motivated me for my next day. But I also knew it's not always going to be like this. It's a roller coaster. Sometimes it's up and sometimes it's down, and you just have to ride it out because the overall experience of the roller coaster is better than the moments you don't like on it. And if you don't like roller coasters in general, that analogy is not for you. Create accountability. So accountability is really big for me. It talks about being accountable. So accountability is an attitude and an approach. It's a tool for changing achieving results. And it's a dynamic cycle, not a concept. So it's constantly going through the wheelhouse. Aaron Kaufman said something really interesting yesterday on a call that he had with our 3 offices. And he said, interdependency is an attitude that an independent person has to have. Something along those lines. And to me, that was like, whoa. That if I took nothing else away from that, that was it. That was my big thing that I took from it. So it absolutely is an attitude and an approach. If I am very flippant about the goals that I set and not checking in with anyone, the chances of me achieving those goals, every time you have that approach to it, it goes less and less and less. The percentage shrinks and shrinks and shrinks and shrinks. And it's a tool. So I have a couple accountability partners, and I am an accountability partner for a couple of people, and I give them full permission. Be mean about it. They know my habits, they know what I do, and I will give every excuse in the book. Every single excuse. Oh, I didn't feel good. Oh, I got a phone call and I had to do it. Oh, I had a family emergency. Oh, I needed to take care of whatever the excuse is, I will give it. And I tell them, be mean. Be mean about it. No, that's BS. You're not doing it. You're not listening. You're ridiculous. You're making excuses, and dig in, because that's how I have to have my accountability. Maybe not everyone is like that, and that's fine. Find the accountability that works for you. Does anyone in here have an accountability partner?
No, I don't.
My coach is my accountability partner.
Your MAPS coach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I don't have a MAPS coach, but Renee can probably tell you they can be mean about it too.
Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't use the word mean. I would use the word direct.
There you go.
An accountability partner that makes things okay is not really an accountability partner. It's a friend. So one of the things they suggest is that as an accountability partner, you get someone who is going to be direct and all that. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we had asked at the beginning of this class was that you find an accountability partner. And I think you guys, now that you're understanding more of the importance of it, that now you'll probably be more likely to partner with someone, in your office. And Mira in the Gateway office is going to be an excellent resource for you. I don't know who's at the Campbell office, but you know, if nothing else, at least designate someone in your office as an accountability partner. Done preaching.
Thank you. Yeah, I think direct is much better. And I talked to a coworker of mine in the office, and they've said, this is how the call goes with your MAPS coach. If you even get on a call that week, or what is it, whenever your call is, and it's, you didn't make your calls, you didn't do your homework, you didn't turn in, we're not talking. Oh, and I just wasted or paid this much money to not have a phone call. Great. So it's on you. You have no one to blame but yourself for it. And that sort of directness is going, that should make you uncomfortable enough to not want to do it again. It's kind of that awkward thing of not talking to your database for so long and then reaching out to them and then being like, hey, how's it going? It should make you not want to do it again. So accountability, again, another tool in your toolbox to help you achieve your goals. You want to make sure that you share your goals with your accountability partner, that they know the key activities that you have to do, what you're doing to measure it, and you're sharing these measured results, how you're evaluating it with them. So are you checking in weekly? Are you checking in every other day? Is it monthly? And then make adjustments along the way. So if you know that you're not able to make your calls this week, talk to your partner, your accountability partner, or your accountability coach, whoever it is, and say, I can't make them this week. I have to double up on it next week. And now you've made the commitment to double up on those calls to fulfill week 1 and week 2. Any questions or comments about accountability? All right. So creating a plan for accountability, sharing your goals, planning your check-ins, and making a date. Share your goals with them. Have them written down. People who have their goals written down are a lot more likely to achieve their goals than people who don't write their goals down. Whether they're your personal goals, whether they're your business goals, whether they're your career goals, whether they're, if you're in school, whether they're your school goals, I want to get a 4.0, whatever it is, write them down. Keep them in front of you. Keep them somewhere where you can check them out as much as you need to. And when the going gets tough, look at those goals. Plan your check-ins with your accountability partner. Are you meeting weekly? Are you meeting bi-weekly? Are you meeting monthly? How often do you feel you need to check in with them to be successful? What method of communication are you going to be using? Right now, it's probably Zoom. And I really recommend having your camera on with them because it creates a sort of face-to-face, even though it's not in person. And it's, for me, I'm big on eye contact. And if someone's not making eye contact with me, I question it. Why are they not making eye contact with me? Listing presentations, buyer presentations, it's the same thing. And it's a lot harder over Zoom. It's doable. It's a lot harder. What are some other things for planning your check-ins? Time of day you're meeting. Is it always going to be the Monday for the Monday? Is it going to be on Mondays at 12 o'clock? Is it going to be the last Friday of the month? When is it going to be? And put that on your schedule. That's a big rock and that's a non-negotiable. So plan accordingly. And making a day, so 2 and 3, that all flows in together. Knowing when you're going to meet, how you're going to meet, who's going to initiate the call, all of that sort of thing. Questions, comments, concerns on accountability?
The only thing I would add, Jordan, is I think if you do it less, if you do, it needs to be a minimum of once a week. I think any further apart, you're more likely to really lose your momentum.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a boat. So when you're in a harbor or you're at the dock, you have your boat tied up to the dock. And let's say the slip comes undone and your boat's starting to drift away and drift away and drift away and drift away. So imagine those are your goals. It's going, not your goals, those are your check-ins, and the distance represents your goals. So the further it gets away, the harder it's going to be to get back on track with those goals and attain it. So the further your ship is going out and drifting away from the dock, the harder it's going to be to get it back and reel it back in.
I think also to tap into what Renee said, I think also having it, I don't have an accountability partner, but I'm now just learning a bit about it. Having it every week, it allows you to also create a relationship with your partner, because then they're also going to notice more your habits. And likewise, you'll notice theirs. So you'll be able to build a much more stronger relationship, having more connection throughout.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And maybe it's that's not the end goal of having it be a relationship, because you don't want to become friends and then be lax on you. It's knowing.
Yeah, of just knowing like when to call out your BS.
Exactly.
I mean, not a friendship, but just a no, you're not being truthful to yourself.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That.
Yeah. I don't care that you went on Facebook and you saw this, or you got a call from Joe Schmo. Right. You didn't do your stuff. Yeah, right. Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Great point. Recaps and ahas. So what are some takeaways that you've had from this session? How has your thinking changed? What do you feel differently about? What has inspired you to take action? And what tools or models are you going to start implementing in your business, in your life?
So for me personally, I think I'm going to look more into the possibility of having an accountability partner, someone to call me out. Just because I am like you, Jordan, where I'm like, yeah, but then this came up. Oh, I had to go to track practice. Oh, well, you know, like it was either the safety of others around me or me being hangry or whatever. The list is endless, right? Also, the fact that I kept hearing it, but I don't know why it just never really clicked until now. But time blocking lead gen can be split. So do an hour and a half in the morning and do an hour and a half later in the evening, right? Because then you also tap into 2 times throughout the day where people were going to be more available. You're not just doing it in one little smash and then getting irritated because you've just been on the phone for 4 or 3 hours. So I think that's my aha on that.
I'd like to clarify something about lead generation, because this is not to give you, it's not so much about permission, but it's about, I used to be terrified at the idea that there's 3 hours of lead generation. Are you friggin' kidding me? And if you read the MREA book and you read anything having to do with lead generation, they talk about part of the lead generation is getting ready who you're going to call. Mm-hmm. Then it's actually, then there's the actual lead generation, and then included in the lead generation time is the follow-up. It's the updating the database, it's writing the notes, it's all that. So when they say 3 hours, it doesn't mean 3 hours on the phone. And again, I'm not giving you permission not to do 3 hours on the phone. But again, for me, it used to be so overwhelming, and it's really, it's the whole process. It's the identifying, it's the calling, and then it's the updating.
Renee, it's a really good point, because if you think about it, if you do 3 hours of calling, the update alone, so because if you don't update and if you don't plan, then that time that you spend on the phone is not as useful and as productive, because 1-2 months down the road, you're not going to remember at all what happened. So to me, 3 hours of calling, Renee, almost equals to another 3 hours or 4 hours of just updating the records or planning 1 hour before. So really good point. Even though I know you're not giving the permission that people should not call for 3 hours, but people have to also realize that, how much you call, also you have to make time for how much you have to update and upkeep of the database and and follow-up action, follow-up action. You may have to write a very good, solid email, or you may have to do a research for a client at that time because they ask you for something. All that goes as part of the lead generation. If you didn't do that, then just calling and talking to them 3 hours on the phone means nothing, actually, in my mind. So good point, Renee. Really good point.
Absolutely. And a great tool that we have at our disposal is Command. And you can be on the phone and have your command up on your computer in a new tab in a new window. And as they're talking, you can type in those notes. Or once you get off the phone, you type in those notes. Whatever it takes for you to remember what they said. If they said, oh, we're thinking about moving, probably listing our house in 6 months, there's your red flag. Write that down, type that up, whatever you have to do. Because to AJ and Renee's point, if you call them and then you get off the phone with them and you don't keep track of it, and 4 months later their house is listed and it's not with you, you have no one to blame but yourself because you didn't do the follow-up there.
I'm a little curious. I'm a new agent, and so we've been talking a lot about lead generation, spending 3 hours a day doing that. And for me, I don't have the database to back that up. I'm using a lot of social media posts right now to try to get my name out there. But I'm just curious, what are some creative ways right now that you guys think would be productive ways to lead generate? Because I've made those calls to the people that I know, the people like in my circle, in my sphere, the people that they've given me. So I've done that. So I'm just curious, what are some other productive ways that other people are kind of using? And is that effective? Has it been effective for them?
Yeah, thank you for asking that question. How many contacts do you have in your phone?
About 100.
Have you called all 100 of them?
I have talked to all of them.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And what is the feedback from them then?
Most of them are, family, friends. And so we just kind of talk about what's going on, how my transition into this field, because I was a teacher before. So mostly it's just, why I transitioned into this and kind of my thinking behind that. And so I kind of just leave it with, if you know anybody, please make sure to pass my name along or give me their information, kind of thing. But nobody really has, they're not super interested in buying or selling right now. And I think some people that have been, they just want to wait. It's just so unpredictable right now. That's kind of the feedback I've gotten. So those people that I know might want to do something down the road, I try to keep in contact with them, but I also know that we're so close that when they're ready, they're going to contact me too. So I don't have like those people that I would have to do weekly just to make sure that I'm top of mind, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I would also say those are the people you want to stay on top of mind with the most.
Yeah.
Because even if they're the people who are closest to you, they could still recommend someone else just because it slips their mind that you're a real estate. Totally innocent mistake. I do want to recognize that it is 10 a.m. So if you have to hop off the call, thank you for your time. More than happy to answer any questions. I do want to get back to Allison's question, but Facebook postings, so sponsored ads.
Jordan.
Yeah.
Really quickly before those other people leave, remember the next series.
Yes, thank you, Nairi. So this is step 9. Tomorrow is step 10, and it's market specific documentations. Next week starts the next steps, and I believe it's called elementals. So this was what to do, and next week is going to start how to do it. So it's giving you the steps to take to get to that point. They're giving you the tools to get to that point. So make sure you tune in for that. We have a whole nother session of Ignites going on, and that's going to be great. A lot of good instructors, and we should all come out a lot stronger on the other side from this.
All right. Thanks, Jordan.
Thank you.
Great job, Jordan. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Allison, I'll put my information in the chat, and you're more than welcome to reach out to me.
Thanks.
What market center are you in?
Gateway.
Okay. I'll make sure that Laura has my contact information as well, and she can get it to you if I can't get it in the chat.
Okay.
But I'm more than happy to chat with you about different ideas on how to reach out to people.
Okay.
Mary
cool, thank
Phyllis
you.
wants to reach out to you in the worst way.
How did you know?
I thought you guys are soul sisters. You need to.
Oh, because they're both teachers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we
Yeah.
go.
Well, I can definitely connect all of you guys for sure.
Great,
Wonderful.
thank
Well, the
I
other
was
thing.
raising my hand.
The other thing is talking about Bold too as a next step.
Mhm.
So Bold is going to just take all this information and just turn it up a bit. So all of you guys, $99, everybody should be enrolled.
Yep, definitely.
Absolutely.
Mary, did you have a question?
I kind of do. I have a question about what you guys are, what are your clients feeling about personal notes? Are they feeling like they're germ infested, or are they ready to receive those again?
I had never thought about that until Patty talked about the fact that she throws her shit away.
I don't. I love getting mail.
You know, it's like, Patty, I actually ordered from home. It's amazing what you can order from home. I actually ordered a couple hundred, some note cards, and I ordered stamps.
Yeah.
I'm going to start sending them.
Yeah.
If people want to do that, that's their prerogative. And I'm going to send personal notes.
Well, I know it takes time to write them. So I thought if I start writing them this week and then don't actually mail them till next week, maybe people will feel more comfortable receiving them at that point.
I think there's always going to be a percentage of people that get nervous. It's going to be a smaller percentage though. And I know I'm reading some information in the chat that's going on in the chat. I think for the most part, people are going to be, every time I get a card in the mail, I'm so happy that someone thought of me. So
Patty just responded with, I just got a call from someone that I sent snail mail to, and she didn't throw that shit away.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sorry. This is not the language we should be using.
Recorded.
So handwritten notes are still great. I have chicken scratch writing, doctor writing. So I use AM cards a lot. But nothing beats a handwritten note. Nothing beats it, because to me, when I get one, it says that person took the time to write something down. I need to see these chats. What's going on in this chat?
Well, before Allison gets off too, I just want to say, Allison, you're doing a great job of building habits right now. And this isn't a one-off business.
Yeah.
It's a building business. And so you continue to reach out, you do your 36 touch plans, you reach out to people, and it will build and it will come back to you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was just more curious if anybody has, success with new leads. Cause I hear a lot like you're touching base with your people you've already met. So trying right now, at least, how are you getting those new leads?
Yeah, because right now you can't door knock, you can't do open houses. So what are other options for people to grow their databases or build them even bigger? Yeah, I totally.
And I effectively do it, productively do it, not getting just, random Instagram or Facebook people that aren't going to, end up doing something. So I'm just curious.
So if I could offer a suggestion really quick, and then I know we're over on time, but this is always one of my favorite topics. So Allison, you've lived in the Bay Area your whole life?
Pretty much, yeah.
So you know more than 100 people. And so I would highly recommend that you are looking back at yearbooks, people that you grew up with. Your mom is in the industry.
Yeah.
She knows a ton of people. I would be asking her about her database as well, and clients that she possibly are not connected to a realtor already. So I would expand, and I think it was in one of the Ignite sessions that we already did where it talks about who your SOI is, or your sphere of influence, and there was a ton of bubbles on that sheet for you to jog your memory of all the other people that you know more people than you're giving yourself credit for.
Yeah.
And this is the amazing exponential factor of real estate. Every single person that you know knows at least 100 other people. Okay.
Well,
So-
and Laura, you said it. It's that there's that activity, the memory jogger.
Yeah. I think it was in one of the first couple of days of Ignite.
Yeah, I
they had
remember
the
that.
memory jogger
You can also
exercise.
just Google memory jogger too.
Yeah, go back to that. It's going to give you a lot of ideas of people that you do know more people than you're giving yourself credit for. And you know, it's nerve-wracking to reach out to people the first time around, but if you're reaching out just to say, hey, it's a weird time right now and I haven't talked to you in a long time. I was just thinking about you. How are you doing? How's your family? That is going to go into other conversations where you're catching up and people are asking you how you're doing and what's going on, and you're going to get to sprinkle in there that you're a realtor now.
Okay.
So it really will bring other conversations up. And again, go ahead and put yourself out there. You have nothing to lose. If you don't put yourself out there, you already have an answer.
Yeah.
Right. So
I think also if you like happen to have Allison like a hat, a Keller Williams hat or whatever, everyone's taking walks, just wear your hat. It might like trigger someone. Who knows? I don't know.
Name badge.
Now.
Name
I mean, I
badge.
would wear my name badge to the grocery store before, but now it's like I'm not really going. So.
But if you go for a walk out on the street, wear your hat. You know, just anything, or even like I have one of those pop thingies on my phone.
Oh, like a pop socket.
And it's a KW one. Any little thing, just to kind of catch someone's eye.
And this too shall pass.
Yeah.
This is temporary, and you're building a business for the long run. So this will be a blip in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Just remember, you're building your business in a shift, and Keller Williams as a whole was built as a shift.
Yep.
In a shift.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just put my information in the chat. If anyone has any questions about Command, if you need any help with that, you can call me. Allison, you're more than welcome to call me or email me about Facebook ads. Those are really effective, and you're always going to get some stragglers, some one-offs, but there's some screening measures in effect there.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jordan. You did such a great
thank you
job
so
today.
much.
Appreciate
Very
it.
fun.
Hey, if you guys, I just wanted to let you guys know I changed my background. The 3 team leaders have been talking about how well these Ignite classes are going. So likely that we'll continue this in the future, joining the 3 offices together to do it because it's been going so well. So great job, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You as well.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.